So we are getting that up right now. All right. Welcome to the channel. We are 1 minute away, and this is going to be about which brokerage is right for you. So on the group, we have got a lot of people who like the video that was like, which brokerage should you go to? So I am making a live video with questions that have come in on how to pick the right brokerage and which brokerage is right for you. So let's see here. If you've got any questions, definitely put them in the chat. And let's see. Okay. And I will make sure I get, let me get this taken care of. All right. So the first question that I've got is, I guess it's not a question, it's my recommendation to you is know which brokerage or know who you are, really is what it is. You need to know who you are before you can pick where it is that you want to go. And what do I mean by that? So put that on there. What is your learning style? Do you like to be somebody who figures it out on your own? You look everything up, you're self sufficient? Or are you somebody who likes to have someone help you through it? You like to hear the conversation and your audio, or you are somebody who's visual and you actually need to see how somebody is doing it so that you can understand it? Also, on here, do you like to be in a group? Do you like a lot of people around you, or do you want to be self-taught? Either is good. It doesn't matter. But if you want to be self-taught and they are requiring that you come to trainings and you have to wait for your answer until you come to a training with a lot of other people, that may make you crazy. So you need to know who you are and what you need before you start interviewing brokerages to find out if that brokerage is right for you. Because if you don't know who you are, it doesn't matter which brokerage you go to, you're 99% of the time, you're going to be unhappy. So that would be my first recommendation to you is know who you are. And I'm curious. I mean, drop it in the comments below. How do you learn? I personally am self-taught. It doesn't mean I can do everything on my own, but for the most part, I do probably 95% of my learning on my own. The reason I personally don't care for group learning is because there's always somebody in there that's disrupting the class. They've shown up late, they have to leave early, they're talking on their phone, they're just talking around you, they're eating a lot of food and they're crunching. And that does make me a little bit crazy. Also, I want to know the information when I want to know it. So if I need something right now, I don't want to wait till next week at 3 p.m. before I'm going to get that information. So for me, I know that I needed a place where I could have access to people, get the information I wanted, and then if I had to have other help, I could go to it. So first things first, know who you are. And anybody that's in here, how is it that you guys like to learn? Just definitely let me know. So the second question or comment is, what do you need versus what do you want? All of us would like to have a place where we might have friends, that we get along with everybody, that maybe there's social outings that we do together. But what you need and what you want are going to be two different things. You may need a place that has a lot of accountability. You want a best friend, but your best friend is going to tell you it's okay if you didn't do that. You're going to need that person who's going to be like, why are you not doing this? Like, I don't want to hear the excuses. If we want to get you to where you want to go, we need to do this. So if you need a place that, let's say you want to do a lot of social media, you might not want to be at a brokerage that does a lot of social media, but you know that if you're going to survive today, you need to be at that place. So needs versus want on there. Oh, that's the other one. When is it going to be available to you? So when are they going to be available to you? Or do you get sent to someone else? So, oh, that's what you would need from your broker. Are you going to be able to access the person that you need? Are they going to be available to you, or are they going to be like, again, Wednesday at 9 a.m. or go to this other person, and that person isn't the person that you need. And what do I mean by that? So I was at a place where I needed to learn the contracts, and I had specific questions about the contracts. And the person that knew how to answer the contracts was often not available. And so I was rerouted to somebody else that was like, okay, this person's going to be available. Ask them the questions. And I honestly was dumber at the end of that conversation. And I felt like I have just wasted, whether it was 5 minutes or 15 minutes of my life. And I was so unhappy because I didn't get the broker or the person that I needed. I got whatever was available, and it's not what I wanted. So, need versus want is going to be very important on when you are selecting your brokerage. Now, the next one that we have in here is, what are you willing to do to get the business? So, when I talk to a lot of agents or they talk to me, they are like, all right, um, I want to be successful. Okay, well, that's great. We all want to be successful, but what are you willing to do? And a lot of people are like, well, I'm willing to go to work. Okay, there's a lot of ways to get the business. It could be that you're going to do cold calling. Are you willing to pick up the phone and talk to people? And how many? Are you willing to do the 100 phone calls per day? Are you willing to be hung up on 99 times? Or would you rather do door knocking? Would you rather go out there on the street, start hitting the doors, and wait for people to answer the door? And maybe some of them are going to be nice. Maybe some of them are not going to be nice. Are you willing to hit the number that you need to hit every day, whether it's sunny, whether it's raining, no matter what, so that you can get the numbers? If you don't want to do that, are you willing to do open houses? Are you willing to, on, late in the afternoon or on weekends, do several open houses throughout the week or on the weekend to get the business? So that's what I mean by, are you willing to do what it takes to get the business? There's also working your sphere, there's farming, and then there's social media. And all of them are going to require work. There's not a single one that you're going to say, I'm going to give somebody $100 and I'm going to be successful, because I wish that were the case. I would be super, super successful if I could just give somebody some money and be like, okay, I'm going to be successful now. Every single one of them takes work. And I'll tell you, for me, it is hot in Florida. I am not door knocking anything. I don't like when people come to my own door and interrupt me. My dogs go wild. I'm making videos, so if somebody's knocking on the door, they're really messing up my day. So I don't want to go door knocking. I'm also worried about the crazies out there. I also don't want the police called on me because somebody is like saying there's a sketchy person in the neighborhood. I do not want to do cold calling. I don't like getting called, so I'm not willing to get on the phone and try to find the one person in 1,000 that's willing to sell, and then they're also yelling at you because they're angry that they didn't sell their house. So for me, those were completely out. Now, I tried to do open houses. It was a lot of work, and most of the people for me that came through had representation already. So I know it works for a lot of people, and so do the other ones, but they're just not what I was willing to do. Now, what I was willing to do was, I did like working my sphere. I don't have a lot of relationships, but I have deep relationships and I have a lot of interest in hobbies. So for me, it was better to go to like a dog park and make an effort to talk to somebody else with a dog at the dog park, and or taking an art class or going to a wine or beer tasting. For me, that was a whole lot easier than it was to do any of the other ones. And now that I've learned that, social media is really where it's going to, and believe me, at my age, that is not something that I was super, super excited about. Um, it's just what needed to be done. And so it is what I'm doing because that's what needs to be done. And I find that I did go into it kicking and screaming, but I'm obviously embracing it now because of all the other choices. It's not it's not something I want to do. So the question is, what are you willing to do? Because you're going to have to do something. That's not going to work out if you go and tell your friends, "Hi, I'm in real estate," and all of them are going to be like, "Oh no, I have to buy a house now because you're in real estate." That just does not happen. I wish that were the case, but unfortunately, it just isn't. Next one is, and if I haven't got to your comment yet, definitely please put it in there and I will get your comment answered in here. Let's see here. Okay, next question is, everybody always wants to know what's an avatar. You guys have probably heard that a lot. Know your avatar, know your avatar, know your avatar. Well, you need to know your avatar. And what is an avatar? It is your target client or person that you want to work with. And when I say, "Hey, what do you want to do when you're in real estate?" and they say, "Well, I want to sell everything." Well, that's a lot. And it could be, "Okay, do you want to do commercial? Do you want to do vacant land? Do you want to do condos, townhouses, beachfront properties, residential homes?" So let's take a broad one and let's say residential homes. You're like, "Okay, I want to sell residential homes." All right. Do you want to work with entry level homes, maybe a 2-1 or a 3-2 starter home for somebody? Do you want to work pool homes? Do you want to work gated communities? Do you want to work $1 million plus homes? What is it that you are looking to do? Who is the person that you want to work with? And at first you think, "Well, I want to work with anybody. I mean, if you're going to buy a house, I want to work with you." And at the beginning, you probably do need to work with everybody because you just don't know what you don't know. But you're going to get to a point where you're going to find out, I don't enjoy that personality. That's not where I want to work anymore. And for me, because of my personality type, and I said, you got to know who you are, I found that I like to work with a direct person who knows exactly what they want. They're 3 words, probably at the most, and then they have something to go do. The person who is looking for a best friend that they're going to hang out with and go see 100 homes before they make a decision. I like them, but they're exhausting, and I just can't keep up with that. So you want to know, where do you want to work? What kind of product do you want? Who is your ideal client? And a lot of us just give them a name. So I like Jessica. That is my ideal client. Jessica and her husband or partner Austin, they are either both in medicine or going to, like, one of them is in medicine, one of them is a professional. They may be buying their first home of many homes that are to come, and they'll be moving into investment properties later. They're very busy, so they're direct and to the point, and they're very, very quick to ask. So that, for me, is my ideal client. Somebody moving to my area who wants to buy their first home, and in probably 2 to 3 years, will be buying a second home and then getting into investment properties, and just move very, very quickly. So find out who you want to work with. And like I said at the beginning, you may have to work with a few different type of people to find out what you like, and that's okay. But the faster you can get there, the easier it's going to be. Now, we're going to get to why all of this is important in picking a brokerage. And that is because when you are selecting a brokerage, if you know this stuff already, if you know who you are and the person that you want to work with, you know the style that you need to learn and what you need versus what you want, then when you go to a brokerage, that is what you're going to look for in a brokerage. So if you go to a brokerage and they say to you, "Okay, we have meetings every single week. We come in 3 times a week. You have to be here from 9 to 1, and we go bowling together, and we do all of this stuff together." That may be great for the person who's looking for that. But if you live an hour away and it's almost impossible for you to get there, then you may hate that. And so it's very, very important to know, does the brokerage have your style? And is there somebody in that office that is doing what you want to do? So when I wanted to learn about commercial, it was very important for me to find out who the number one commercial agent was in my market and what type of commercial did he do. I knew I didn't want to do leases. I knew that I wanted to do new development. I was just intrigued by new development. I did not want to do retail. That's a lot of work. Offices were okay, but I really enjoyed new development. So I needed to make sure that there was a brokerage that had a learning style where I could go get the information, and then there was somebody in the office that was already doing what I wanted to do and was very, very successful at it so that I could learn from them. So you want to make sure that there's already somebody doing what you're doing, want to do in that office, and they're successful in it. The next thing that's going to be very important is, are they willing to work with you? Because if you've got somebody in the office that is just killing it out there, but they are like, no, I'm not going to work with anybody. I'm not going to train anybody. How's it going to help you? So just because the broker is saying you should come over here, we've got everybody doing it, does not mean that all those people want to work with you. And the best thing to do is if they say Bobby over here is the number one person in sales and you can learn from him, go ask to speak to Bobby. Find out if Bobby is looking to mentor or help anybody grow. And if Bobby says no, think about it. And if Bobby says yes, that's absolutely amazing. Most likely, Bobby's going to say no, and I will tell you why Bobby's going to say no. Because think about it: if you're Bobby and you're making $500,000 a year in sales, and you have 10 people that are coming at you wanting you to train them for free, then you can't do your own business. It's very, very hard to do your own business. And then you're going to be met with a lot of excuses like, oh, I can't go there that day, or I'm not ready. So those people that are very successful don't want to work with unproven people. What they want to work with is somebody who has already proven themselves, or they get a good vibe from. So when you go meet with that person that's the top producer of what you want to learn, make sure you present yourself in a way that they will look at you and go, yeah, you know what? I don't normally work with a lot of people, but you seem to have it where I want it to be, and I will work with you. So make sure that there's somebody doing what you want and they are willing to work with you there. All right, let me make sure I'm not missing any of your questions. And let me go through here. Thank you guys for joining. All right, I think we're doing pretty good there. Okay, so the next one is, this is what people think is really important. I will tell you it's probably honestly the least important of everything, and that is commissions is one thing, but you need to know about the fees, the signs, and the lock boxes. So a lot of places will say something like, hey, we give you all of your commission, or your split is 90-10, or whatever it is. That's fantastic, right? But there are all these fees. So there are, I don't know, desk fees, marketing fees, transaction fees, broker review fees, E&O fees, printing fees, fees. There are so many fees. So you don't want to just ask the question, what is the commission? You want an entire breakdown of what every fee is in that office. Now, I was talking to an agent recently, and they were at an 85-15 split. And they were saying to me, well, should I go to this other office that is at an 80-20? It seems stupid. Why would I give up 5%? I'm getting 85% now instead of 80. And I said, I don't know, let's work it out. And I said, let me see your contracts for both offices that you have an option to work for. And at the office where there was an 85% split, there was a 7% franchise fee off the top. 7% off the top for the franchise fee. And then there was a broker review fee for $50 for every file, and a E&O fee of $25 per file. So the other office was 80-20. That was it, 80-20. There were no additional fees, nothing. And when we did the sample math on like, okay, what would a $300 sale look, $300,000 sale look like versus at either of the two brokerages, they actually made more money at the 80-20 brokerage because they didn't have the franchise fee and the broker review fee and the E&O fee. So do not go solely based on commission. Go on also what the fees are at that office. And I will tell you, you're going to pay for education and training. One way or another, you're going to pay for education and training. You're either going to pay for it through a lower commission because they're going to be giving you education and training, or you're going to be paying for it by buying your own courses or signing up for a coaching program or spending time finding things online and trying them. Because when you don't know how to do an open house, it takes a lot of time to learn how to do an open house. And when you make all the mistakes for months before you finally go, okay, this is the perfect way to do an open house, that is time, and time is money. So you may be thinking, well, I get 100%. I knew a girl that was getting 100%. 3 years, she was getting 100% of nothing because she could do nothing. She learned nothing because her brokerage was like, for 100%, I mean, figure it out on your own. She didn't figure anything out, and then she ended up leaving the business. But then I've also known people who started at 50-50, and the education that you get, no one can take that away from you. Once you've learned and been trained on it, it is yours. And you can take that anywhere you go, and you can build on it and end up making money. And when you're good, you're going to get to that higher commission, and nobody's going to stop you. And then you're going to kind of get to almost name your price on there. So I'd usually say don't worry about the commission at the top, because um, if you're producing, it's going to work out for you. But if you're not producing, no amount of commission is going to help you. All right, next question we got was education and training. All right, a lot of brokerages will say, we provide education and training, and we have so much education and training. Oh my gosh, hours and hours and hours of education and training. And you do want education and training, but what are you being trained on? That's going to be what's important. And what tools are you going to be given? And do they cost extra? So if the education and training is how to use your transaction management so that you can do contracts, that's great. Everybody's got one. You're going to have to learn it no matter where you are at. So it's just a different product at a different brokerage. Completely fine. But is there any education and training on what if you wanted to learn how to do door knocking? How do you find the houses? What do you say? When is the best time to go? What happens if somebody actually says, sure, I'd love to talk to you? I mean, where do you go from there? If you wanted to do cold calls, who do you call? How do you not violate the do not call list and end up getting sued? What do you say when you're on the call? If you want to work expireds or for sale by owners, where do you find them? How do you also not get in trouble by calling somebody who shouldn't be called? So education and training is really, really important, because is it going to be on the style that you are willing to do to earn your income? And is it also going to resonate with your avatar on what they want to hear for their personality type? So you want to look into the education and training. Now, some people say, well, we've got a lot of training. Great. And they charge you for every single course. They say, oh, hey, sign up. You want to learn how to do that? No problem. Monday at 10 a.m., come over here. And you go over there and they're like, oh, so this course is $100. And then this one's 150. So they do have it, but you have to pay for it. Some places you don't pay for it because it's already included in your split. So you want to make sure you understand what other tools do they have, what other education and training. Is that going to serve you to generate more business? And will it also serve you when you're really, really busy, so that you can streamline your business and have processes and systems in place so that you are not dying? Because let's all hope you're really, really busy, but without systems and processes, it's a hard world to be in. So education and training is important. Is it included or is it extra? Okay, next question we have here is, what does a brokerage expect of you? A good brokerage is going to expect something from you. If you have a brokerage where they go, oh, are you breathing? Come on over. You can just join us today. If they are not asking anything from you, if they don't want to know your style, they don't want to know what do you need, how do you learn, does this work for you, then it's a numbers game. If you hire 100 people and 3 of them are great, and you didn't have to do anything else with the other 97 and invest anything into them, it's just a numbers game. But a good brokerage is going to ask you questions, and they're going to be like, what are you willing to do? Are you going to come to the trainings? Here's what's going to happen if you don't. And they're going to have expectations, and you want them to hold your feet to the fire on it. If you say that you're going to do this and you don't, are you looking for a friend? Because this is an expensive way to have a friend. Or are you looking for what you need to be successful? And are you willing to do it? So hopefully the brokerage has expectations from you, and whatever they are you willing to meet them? So I know of a friend of mine, and he does at least 6 interviews with his company over a period of time, just to make sure that you're serious. He's not looking for the person that says, hey, I'm changing brokerages tomorrow because I'm mad at my broker. That's not who he wants. So he does 6 interviews, and then he has his daily activity. And then he's got, like, each week, there are certain things you have to hit each week, and there's going to be a meeting and an interview on it. And if you don't do it, then you're not going to do it. So he's not going to waste his time. He's just going to move on next. Now you may think, wow, man, that's harsh. Then that's not the brokerage for you. You are looking for something that's just maybe a little bit more relaxed or more understanding. I will tell you, the ones where they have expectations of you have a higher success rate. Those agents do better than the ones that are just going to feel good. And they're going to be like, oh, come on over. You're not feeling like working today? Well, let's just go get some coffee. And at the end of the week, you're just broke from having coffee. So, next one is, when is your broker available to you and how do you reach them? I have several people that have reached out to me, and they are like, I can never reach my broker. If they do, they have to wait like a week to get a hold of their broker, because maybe, and I can't say I know for everybody, maybe there are hundreds, if not thousands, of agents at that office, and the managers are handling hundreds, if not thousands, of agents and their questions. So you may not be able to reach them because they are so busy. Then I know of brokers where they only have a few agents, but they themselves are on vacation and they're having a great time, and I'm very happy for them. I don't know what that looks like yet. No, but they can't they can't answer their phone because they're living the good life. And so you want to know, are you actually going to be able to reach the broker? Are they actually going to answer your phone? Is it only Monday through Friday 9 to 5? Because I'll tell you, most of these situations occur after 5 and on weekends. So for my agents know that I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I go to bed at 8. So if you try to get a hold of me after 8, I'm probably sleeping. But if I get up in the middle of the night or early in the morning, I will be texting you. If you want me to call you, I will call you. And during the day, if I'm not able to answer my phone, I will text them and say, I'm going to be in a meeting for this much longer. I will call you at this time. So they know that I'm going to get a hold of them, and we will talk. We will talk as soon as possible. It won't be the next day. It's going to be today unless I've already gone to sleep. So do you want that? Or are you okay if it's the weekend and you're sitting at a listing appointment and they ask you a question that you don't know how to answer and you can't get a hold of them? I mean, what do you want? And then if they tell you that they're going to be available, hold their feet to the fire. Are they available? Because I mean, we're all busy. At some point, sometime, you're not going to be able to reach them. But if it's a regular occurrence, then maybe they just weren't honest with you at that point, and then you're going to probably need to reevaluate. Okay, let's see here. Next question. Yeah. Okay. A lot of times people, when they join a brokerage, they join for the wrong reasons. They join because their friend is working there or their family owns the brokerage. They join because everyone says that's the place that they should be. The brokerage told them you were going to get all this, and then they come in and they find out, nope, they didn't get all that, or they didn't know what their style was, and then they joined a place that looked great. Maybe it was on their way home, maybe it had pretty pictures in the window. Whatever the reason is, they learned that they joined the wrong brokerage. Now, what do? Do you stay? Do you have an obligation to stay? And how long do you stay? Do you stay a year and be like, I joined the wrong brokerage, but I'm gonna hang out here for a year? Because you owe it to who? if it's affecting your ability to do your business and make a living for yourself and your family, I don't think you need to stay another day on there. I think if you realize you are in a bad relationship or one that's not serving you, you need to make a change and do it quickly. And so I hear from other people, "Oh no, but they're going to talk about me. My people, the community is going to care." I will tell you, nobody cares. Honestly, they don't. The only people who really care are the gossipy realtors who have nothing better to do because the busy ones, they are too busy to worry about you, especially if you're a new agent. They don't even know your name at this point. And your friends don't care because they probably don't even know which brokerage you're at. All they know is that you're a real estate agent. That's about all they know. They're not going to be like, oh, I got to call this brokerage because my buddy goes there. They don't know where their buddy's at. So don't worry about it. Make the move that's right for you. And the only person that's really putting any thought into it is you. And honestly, I'm sorry. I just don't know of anybody that's so interesting that they're going to really talk about it for the next week or two. It's not, you might be like, oh, did you know where this person went? And they'll be like, who is that person? And that's about the extent of it. Now, if you find that you're needing to change brokerages every week, every month, it may not be the brokerage. It might be you. So look at why you're leaving and make sure it's for the right reason. I always say that some people, they become accidental brokers, and that's because they're an agent or a broker associate, and then they get mad at their broker for some reason, and they go, "Yeah, well, I will show you." And they open up their own brokerage, and then they realize, oh, it is work, and they don't like it. It's expensive and work. So one day I'll cover like, why do we do it? Some of us are just a glutton for punishment. All right, next question. Oh yeah, what will everyone think of you if you change brokerages? I've been in this business for over 15 years, and half the time I don't even know that somebody's changed the brokerages because I'm too busy to care about what's going on in your life. I'm just trying to live my own. And then when I do hear something where I know them, I'll be like, okay, I'll run into them eventually, and it was just time. Sometimes you change for good reasons. Sometimes you change because you've learned everything you can, and it is time for you to move on. That's all right. You're not probably supposed to be someplace forever. So I would not worry about it. Let that one go. Oh, that's always a fun one when somebody comes to me and they say, "Do you offer leads? And what kind of leads do you offer? And you want to know what is the split?" Okay, this is my personal opinion. You got to do what's right for you. My personal opinion is there are a lot of brokerages that offer leads. Put yourself in that broker's position. You have a seasoned agent that 9 out of 10 times closes every person that they ever work with. And they're basically a sure thing. Like they have so much seasoning that they know what they're doing. You have 10 brand new agents. They just started. Who are you going to give that $1 million buyer to? I'm going to give it to my seasoned agent. One, because the customer deserves that. They deserve someone who's got the skill set. I'm not going to guinea pig that person on a brand new agent who hasn't proven anything and doesn't even know how to turn on a computer at this point. So the leads that you often get are difficult, hard leads. I know of some offices that they'll take the leads that have been in the system for years and they'll give them to the new agents, and those agents will just start calling and calling and calling, and they just hope that they get lucky. And you know what? Something's better than nothing. Um, some places they pay for leads to come in. So the other thing is that you're not going to be given the best lead. And I made this mistake. Somebody asked me because I was so excited to have somebody ask me this question. They said, "Hey, would you like a lead?" I was like, "Yes, I would love a lead." I have learned after that, you ask the question. I now say, "Let's talk about it." And I want to know, are they my avatar? When are they looking to buy? Have they been pre approved? What are they looking to buy? What is their budget? So this particular lead that they gave me was someone who was literally driving into town right then and was going to be in town in 30 minutes. They had a budget of $90,000 and they had 16 homes that they wanted to see. And the referral on there was going to be 25% before my company split. So I was going to make nothing. I mean, yes, I was going to make something, but to pull together that much stuff, um, it was daunting. I did it. We saw all the homes. We went and saw 3 homes twice because they were trying to make a decision. And at the end of the day, they bought nothing. They had no loyalty. And so I now ask the question, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this and let's make sure that I'm a good fit for them and they're a good fit for me, especially if I'm going to have to give up money for it as well. And anytime I'm working with somebody who's not a good fit or not a good lead, I am missing the opportunity to work or learn or educate myself in some way that I could work with somebody else in the future. So you want to know what kind of leads are you getting? And what is that lead going to cost you? Because not only do you have to give something to the person who gave you the lead, but do remember you will have your company split on top of it. So, how much money are you going to be left over with, and how much time is that going to take you to work with that person? Let's see, make sure we don't have any other comments in here. Okay, good. Now, the next question is, do you have office space and is it required? Some places do want you to show up at the office. They, like I said, what does your broker require of you? They may say, hey, you know what? For you to come to work with us, and if we're giving you leads and to make sure you're doing the education and training, you may need to be in the office a certain amount of time. Um, some of them say desk space is free. Some of them may say, you know what, you don't have to be in here, but if you do want to be here, absolutely you can, but we're going to charge you for it. And there's going to be a monthly fee. Some of them will say, you can have a desk for free as long as you're producing this much in volume. And on any month that you're not producing that, you will have to pay a fee. There's all kinds of different ways to go about it, but you want to find out, first of all, do they have office space if you want it? Do you even like the space? Do you have to share it? When I was in an office, where was 4 of us in a, well, actually, in the first one, there was like 16 of us in a bullpen. Very difficult to do any work because people are talking on the phone, and a lot of people just came in to have coffee. After that, I moved myself because I had the production to an office with 4 people in it. That's still hard because we had a chatty person over here. And then I moved myself to an office with 2 people in it. And then I moved myself to an office with 1 person in there. And again, you don't have to go into the office, but at my house, it's too difficult to work between the people that are at home and all the dogs and everything going on. I need to get away and have my own space. And so do they have an office for you? Do you even want to go there? Or are you required to go there? And how often? And if you have an office, how much is it going to cost you? Or what do you have to do to get to a point that you have an office? Now, next question. I didn't think about this one until recently because I thought everybody paid quickly. How quickly do you pay commissions? You really, really want to know that. There are situations now, like if you get a check, it's with the checks. People can pull back checks right now, so you can cash a check. It can say that it's cleared your bank, and then they're like, "Oh no, 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 it didn't," and they pull the money back. Same thing with some other forms of payment. So because of that, some brokers will say, "Okay, if the check is coming from a title office, we'll cash it quickly and pay you quickly." But remember, it's got to get cashed and clear their bank account before they can pay you. So a lot of times, let's say there's a $10,000 check coming in and you're getting $9,000. Well, that brokerage also has other people. Remember, they're paying other people as well. So they can't just give you the $9,000 without that check clearing the bank. Now, There are some places where if you're working for a large corporation, some of them will work it out that they pay you at the table. If your file is completely done and it's gone through the underwriting that their office has, they may pay you at closing. That's absolutely fantastic and great. Other ones are like, nope, we do not pay at closing. You're going to have the check delivered to us, whether you drop it off or they do a wire transfer or it's mailed, but we have to have the money and then it's got to go through the system. And there are some people that I recently talked to that it's taking weeks, if not months, for them to get paid. Cannot understand that. I can't even fathom that. But I don't always just listen to what the brokerage is telling me because they're going to tell me whatever it is I want to hear for me to work there. Talk to the agents that are there. Find out if they're getting paid on time or how long it's taking them to get paid. And if there's any discrepancies with the checks and the amount, how quickly does that take to get resolved on there? So you want to know how you're going to get paid because some days you go months without getting a paycheck. So it's important. Okay. A lot of people do not understand you are probably going to leave the brokerage. And what is the process to leave the brokerage if things don't work out? And so they think, oh no, this is my best friend. We've gone to high school together. I know them. We love each other. This is my sister's, my wife's brother, whatever. You need to know what is the manual say for you leaving the brokerage. Let's say you're at that 90-10 commission split or 80-20 and you decide to leave the brokerage. They may say that everything that's in contract goes to, and it's a lower percentage, plus there'll be a fee for somebody else handling it. They may say, well, your listings don't go with you. They may say your listings do go with you. Whatever it is, it's absolutely okay. Just know what it is so that when you decide it's time to leave, you know what to expect. And then you're not upset by like, oh, I didn't know this was going to happen to me. Well, hopefully they've got a manual and you've read the manual in there. I would say, please read the manual. It's pretty important. Okay, speaking of that, the manual, how is personal production handled? And what I mean by that is, I hope that during your real estate career, you are going to buy and sell property for yourself and do investments for yourself. I mean, that's one of the benefits of doing this. Um, so what is the commission split if you are selling your personal home? Is it the same split that you have with everything else? Because I know that I was thinking, gosh, it's my personal home. I'd like to keep all the money on this. I mean, I see the pros and cons of that now. Um, but what if it's not your personal home and it's your 15th transaction that month or that year? Because you do a lot of investment properties where you buy and sell. Whatever it is, it's going to be fine. Just make sure you know what that is. A lot of offices will do your personal home might have a nominal fee because they have to do work on the brokerage's side and they do have to take the liability on the E&O for it. Other ones will say, based on the volume of production that you do, you get so many transactions for free. So if you're a heavy hitter, you might get 5 transactions free a year if you're doing investments. Other ones will say, you get nothing until you sell a certain amount of business. So it is all okay, just as long as you know what you were agreeing to on there. Let's see. Okay, so far that is what I have for picking the right brokerage for you. Now, just my own personal thoughts and feelings, every brokerage is a good brokerage. I truly feel that way. Every brokerage is a good brokerage. There is somebody for everybody. And at any point in your life, that brokerage might be right for you. And then there's a growth or a pain point in which it no longer serves your purpose. Change. Okay. The only time a brokerage isn't right is if you didn't read the policy and procedures, um, if you didn't understand the style of teaching and the expectations that they have, or you didn't know who you were and what you needed to learn as your style, and then it became not a good brokerage. If you do that, then you can pick the right brokerage. And again, if you didn't pick the right brokerage or it's time for a change, move as quickly as possible. I've had people say to me, oh, I don't want to change because I don't want to have to redo my marketing material. I'm not willing to lose tens of thousands of dollars and my sanity because I don't want to redesign my marketing pieces or have to change my email address again. You start getting faster and quicker with that. There's Fiverr, there's Canva, there's all these different places to help make that faster and more streamlined. And yes, it will cost money to get the signs done, but if you're in a bad place and you're not doing well, it's going to affect your income. And again, you don't owe it to anybody but you and your family to make the right decision for you. Because if you're not doing well at a brokerage, I will tell you, they are not thinking, oh, you know what? I can't fire little Susie. They've been here for 10 years and they got Mary and Bobby and how is this going to impact them? No, it's you're done. You're out. So that loyalty doesn't always go both ways. Um, Again, I'm going to say if you're the one who keeps changing all the time because nobody is offering what you need or are looking for, and maybe you don't know what you need or you're looking for, and you might be the problem. Not saying you are the problem. I'm just saying it could possibly be something you want to think about. And I definitely believe that you should go with a brokerage that has expectations of you and has standards. I talk to a lot of people that, again, it's about the split. And when I do the calculations, without the education and training, they're capped on what they can do. And if they would go someplace or take the money that they're making, right, and put that into education and training and pay for it, they would do a lot better with their money on there. But everybody's got to make their own decision. Hopefully, I did answer all the questions about what is the best brokerage for you. And if I did not, or a question comes up, definitely send me a text or send me an email. Let me see here if I've got my contact information on there. Here it is. And either one, I could make it part of the next video on the follow-up questions, but if not, and it's something you don't want to have shared because it's a little bit more private, I will keep it between us. I won't share that information, but any questions or thoughts that you have, let me know. I'll be happy to help you directly, and I hope that helps you. Have a great day.